start recording. What's the time, by the way? 8:51. Let's also add that script. I wanted to check that out yesterday. ICT-ADR levels, X daily range meter. To check that out and let everyone know. All right, okay, so let's get started. Trading view, we open it up. So on NQ, yesterday delayed during the PM session. Well, 1 PM starts right here. So no, I wouldn't have traded that on NQ. NQ really, I mean, we had it on the live stream. We saw the 2022 model after sweeping the previous day's high, but we ended up not presenting the 2022 model. We neither did present anything else really. We made a lower low, higher high, lower low, and a higher high again. Then we made a lower low. So this is basically seek and destroy. But eventually, towards the end, right here at the beginning of the PM session, or the lunch hour, basically, we made one last high. We saw our displacement. We look for the lowest down closing candle as our breaker block, paired with a bearish fair value gap, paired with the previous day's high. Yesterday during the stream, we also pointed out the 50% of the daily wick. We hit that before we hit the buy side liquidity up here. And we continued lower to clear that low of the day and the AM session low. The entry right here on this huge 1 AM bearish fair value gap paired with the VWAP, in my opinion, that's what I consider the silver bullet entry. It's the continuation. Right here, 50% VWAP wherever you want to enter. Old support turn into resistance. We could look at the lowest down closing candle here really to act as resistance. Played out pretty good as well. We can see bodies respected it to the tick. And we continued lower from here. So this is what my silver bullet entry would look like. 50%. Stop loss above this theoretically protected high. Target a 100 points, I don't know, or maybe just the previous day's low. That was pretty good. We just hit the 4 and negative 3.5 standard deviations after we opened up today. Right here. Right now, Asia consolidation. London started to trend, so London opened up. Can draw a line from the bottom left to the top right. That's how I define a trend during London session. We still have 5 minutes until the open. So we got down eventually below the daily volume imbalance. Let's take a look at the daily here and hide all the stuff here. Put all these drawings into days, weeks, months. Alright, we have a tiny little bullish value gap here on a daily. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Theoretically, we closed below it, but just don't want to be too precise with Nasdaq because it has so many decimals. We have the next bullish value gap down here. Let's see what we do. 50% of the wick, we spoke about that. And daily buy side, daily bearish fair value gap, we did not hit that. We're above the trend line. We could see some support here, or simply some retracement. If we look at the same thing here on ES, what we speak about the entire week, the 50% of this high all the way down to this low could act as resistance. What else did we had at this level? A double zero level, 4400, bearish fair value gap, and a old daily volume imbalance right here. We had 4 hour or 1 hour buy side liquidity in here as well. We kept on making higher highs, but eventually delivered into the anticipated bullish fair value gap. We kept on respecting it pretty nicely, so we will see. Immediate rebalance level for the daily time frame would be the previous day's low. That would be Wednesday's low. Keep an eye on that. If we rebalance this daily bearish candle from yesterday and continue lower afterwards, we take a look at the DXY shortly as well. So played out perfectly, just like we would have anticipated. This is our breakup block. If you get a deeper retracement, we spoke about in Q. Let's take a look at the lower time frames here, really. Yesterday, what I also want to say during the stream, I took partials on the funded accounts right here, and really, I missed drawing my standard deviations tool yesterday from that last manipulation. And if I would have done that and I would have seen that 3.5 and -4 standard deviations come in right here with the sell side liquidity, I really should have modified my risk so that my entry, that I make sure that I hit a 2-to-1 risk reward as soon as we hit the -3.5 standard deviation. Because really it doesn't make sense to target anything lower than that. We also saw it on Nasdaq if we go back to the 15-minute time frame or 5-minute time frame where we saw the textbook 2022 model right here. How well these areas are respected. I think we had over 4 or 5 examples today where we started to turn around once we hit these standard deviations. So we just want to keep that in mind. Turn on the ICT all-in-one indicator again. Get rid of some stuff that we do not need. Previous day's low label. What's that? That's a daily bullish fair value gap. Get rid of that. We have the midnight level. That's all drawn correctly. A tiny little new day opening gap. Our daily candle, which right now is bullish. The VWAP, midnight level, Asia consolidation, London open in 50 seconds. So yeah, really should have either the 50% or 25%, the old 0.5, something like that, to make sure that I hit a 2-to-1 before we hit the -4 standard deviation. Because what did we do? Once again, after we took out sell side and we reached 3.5-4 standard deviations, this overall reversal zone, we pulled back, got lucky here, saw a new 2022 setup, breakup block, bearish fair value gap, but we saw the same thing happening at exactly the same time here over at NQ. Same time, 2022 setup, we spoke about that just then. But really, we also had the bearish SMT divergence here with NQ, because NQ managed to make that higher high, while ES didn't even manage really to take out the buy side liquidity right here from the 10:05 entry or 10 a.m. entry that we took. Anyway, not going to complain. Let's go over to the ICT all-in-one and turn off the 8:30 open. And also turn off the London kill zone box. And I think then we can start. 4 standard deviations of that last manipulation. And during that last hour, we still continued a little bit lower. Where does this low come from? What did I mark out here? Okay, the sell side liquidity. And what's that? Anyway, London open up. We know what we do. We will look for shorts. We're on a 5-minute time frame. I will not look for longs of any kind. Kill some boxes, we turn that back on. And the VWAP, we turn that back on as well. With our new day opening gap, midnight level. And down here we turn off the London kill zone box. Let me actually reload the tab here quickly. Save and reload. And check out that ADR indicator. An important interruption. Confirm and continue. Back to the markets. Maybe they're scared that I'm a professional. Not yet. Alright, we took out the high. We are currently at the high of the daily candle. Power of free settings. Let's put that 30 away from the most recent candle. Take a look at NQ. We covered all that, did our little recap. NQ left behind equal highs. No, I think it also took out the high. Yep. We have a beautiful low paired with that, so we form higher highs and higher lows. Our market structure shift is pretty obvious for this London session. Down here we want to see the close below, so I'm going to already log into the TD accumulation zone account. I have beautiful sell side liquidity below us. Okay, this ADR thing didn't work. We push further to the upside here on the daily. The DXY, what's the DXY up to? So yesterday we predicted the accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. We hit the London session low from Tuesday. So yeah, that's been done. And afterwards we wanted to see if we can continue lower. Well, we didn't, which eventually led to ES and all the other indices and foreign currency pairs to continue lower. With our 1 hour fair value gap and breaker block where we delivered into the sell side. That was pretty cool yesterday to see that play out so well, but the DXY said no and continued back above the high of the week. Right here. So far though, not lots of movement. Let's tag the midnight level here. Opening comes in down here. It's a bullish candle. Get rid of the midnight here. 1 hour fair value gap and breaker block. Let's delete these lines. Just make sure we're not missing anything on ES while we're looking at the DXY to maybe get an idea of what we could be doing. Took out the sell side and then we've reversed. Daily bearish fair value gap, and I think we even closed above on the daily, yeah, so we could really turn this into a inversion fair value gap. Going back to the 15-minute. Yeah, let's do the 1 hour time frame. Swept all these relative equal lows and expanded to the upside. Took out the buy side, and up here all we did so far was consolidate, really. We already took out yesterday's New York session high, so that's done. Let's take a look at our Asia session. Until 2 a.m. 1 and 2. London session is forming right now, and the market will close. What time do we have the daily divider? 17. Friday 18. Zack, New York midnight level. So we already cleared the previous day's high on the DXY. So maybe expecting some sort of a retracement to take out the Asia lows. Could be anticipated. But we still want to see, or wait a little bit until we get confirmation. ES, NQ, you might be getting our structure shift. So same way that we did it yesterday. We cleared our short-term high. Short-term high cleared. Well, text is too big for that. So we're simply going to leave this line here to do so. We want to see if we close below this level and then get a entry with a fair value gap. Super small stop loss. I like that. 2.5 points. 2-to-1 risk reward comes in just at the midnight level. So that's pretty cool. And in terms of standard deviations, we don't want to forget that. 4 standard deviations from here would deliver into some of these equal lows from the Asia session. We have unfilled volume imbalances. We already took out yesterday's low right after the opening, continued lower, respected the bearish fair value gap, continued lower one last time. And then we started the Asia session trend, bounced off the new day opening gap, initially bumped into it, holding resistance, going above it, holding support, going back above the midnight level, and really start a true expansion here. So NQ took out this low, but immediately rejected. I don't care if ES really continues higher from here. It could, but I don't want to be participating. Like, you want to participate around the midnight level if you have high conviction that we're gonna take out some buy side liquidity or maybe hit the previous day's low again from first day. Buy side here and buy side liquidity above this high here on the 5-minute. But really this is the buy side that's standing out. So we will take a look at that and mark it out. We have a 5-minute bearish fair value gap. We have our new week opening gap up here. This purple box. And if we continue higher, we simply continue higher without us. What we can do is to take a look at our daily range, measuring from yesterday's high all the way to pretty much today's low. This is our expansion on the higher time frame PD array. 50% comes in around. Let me get rid of the VWAP. Around yesterday's VWAP, if we would leave that on 50%, 25%, 75%. And next retracement towards the 50% 4383 could be anticipated, but we're only going to look for the shorts. If you want to play the longs, well, every bullish fair value gap or inefficiency that we leave behind could be a potential entry for a little scalp into higher prices. NQ also continues higher after sweeping the low, so a little bit of SMT divergence here at the lows. As of right now, the DXY continues lower but still held up by the midnight level. And the daily low for the immediate rebalance comes in at 4375. So that's really what I want to make sure of. Yep, that's the previous day's low. That would lead us to immediate rebalance on a daily candle, so we don't leave behind a bearish fair value gap here on the daily, to then continue lower and retrace a little bit deeper. What we can do here is measure the 50% of this expansion to the upside, because we've been getting pretty good at this. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We would expect the right shoulder to form somewhere around the same height where the left shoulder is formed. Something like this. And 50% of this range would just, from an eye measurement, also come in around at this level. We have our breaker block, bullish fair value gap right here. So if we put on a low after we retraced, hit the 50%, I think we're gonna do it like this and then continue up higher. Put a higher time frame reversal setup in place. We don't have to retrace this steep, but it's a possibility, and I want to have talked about that possibility. We were already right above about our high right here, and the 4400 level, 0.5 resistance of this entire move to the downside to act as resistance. Let's see if it's enough, if we can simply hold support on this highest bullish fair value gap here to continue into this buy side liquidity. The October highs, I think. Yep, that's a monthly buy side liquidity pool right here. We shall see. Let me get rid of all these drawings. And Q keeps up pushing. Yes, this as well. Market structure shift still comes in at this level. 15-minute time frame. Very bullish. Respected bullish discounts so far very nicely. Last time it did it was right here after the Asia session ended. 1 hour time frame also pretty bullish inside a 1 hour bearish fair value gap from yesterday. Looking at the 4 hour, also inside a 4 hour. Really what we start to see now here on the 4 hour, if we hide all my drawings, made a higher high, higher low, higher high. This is our 4 hour change in the state of delivery. So yeah, really preferring shorts. After we see that change in the state of delivery, we also close below all of these lows. Like I said, we could anticipate the retracement. We could even fill some parts of this higher fair value gap up here, but yeah, we will see how that goes. Overall, I'd say the short-term bias for me right now would be bullish until we get the market structure shift, pullback, I don't know, maybe even in this higher bearish fair value gap right here, and then continue lower to basically deliver what we spoke about on the daily time frame over here with the head and shoulder setup. Change in the state of delivery is here. This could be enough of a sell side liquidity sweep as well, but I don't know, we need a decent news driver. Next week we will get the CPI news event, so we will see how that will play. Go back to the 5-minute now. I think we've done enough outlook analysis. I'm gonna see the close below here. Keep an eye on NQ. The close would come below this for our market structure shift. DXY is still playing with the midnight level. NQ, ES, bearish volume imbalance, and equal highs. Let me take a look at Discord if we have any questions. Good morning, guys. That's so good. We get there. Any questions, guys, regarding today? Where's my water? Yep, same here. It's the market structure shift or nothing. Morning, Ease. Squeaky chair, back at it again. And like we spoke about during yesterday's New York session live stream, if we get the displacement and we immediately redisplace, we could play the unicorn setup. I even would start taking those on the trade day account. Want to keep track of them and forward test them. I've started to create this little logbook right here, the unicorn model journal, where I keep track of all the differences between them. Take a screenshot and yeah, basically start forward testing them as a little fail-safe method. So even if we happen to take a loss, it might even help us on a psychological level that we know that even if we get stopped out pretty quickly, we can still enter the long because, and if we get that market structure shift here, we take our entry, it fails, blah, blah, blah. We can at least jump in on the long with a high probability that we're going to target buy side, because then we can state this displacement. If we get one as our Judas swing, we immediately, or fake out move, we immediately displace that and continue higher. We hold support on the fair value gap and continue into more buy side. Can play both here really. A then if scenario, or if then do that, blah blah blah. Right now, after London Open, we just started consolidate here right at the high. Same goes for NQ. The DXY broke the midnight level. It's about to take out the Asia lows. Took the Asia high, now taking the Asia low. Even if we do not get a proper entry today during London, wouldn't be an issue. Nice. What's Ulrich messaging? Extended sweeps. Open up the chat again. And patiently watch, wait for the market structure shift. If we take out the highs again, we could really move our market structure shift up with us. Let's see what the indicator would tell us regarding the higher highs and higher lows. Higher low. Okay, not helpful right now. Structure, it's too narrow for it to decide because we have a specific setting. It's always looking at 3 candles. If they get very narrow like this, doesn't really help, so we have to do it manually. Let's look at the 1 minute time frame for structure. We form a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So if we take this high, this would be our market structure shift level. Go to the 5 minute and see if that makes sense. We form a low, a high, and from this high, rejected, made a low. Right now we have equal highs, but yeah, makes sense. Move that up with us. We can see NQ took the high. We can see that the DXY took out Asia sell side. So we cleared both buy side after 2 a.m. and sell side after 2 a.m. End of the Asia session. In the meantime, no, might not be the right time. Since we didn't take out the highs, the market structure shift would really still come in at this level. 1 minute time frame, high, low, higher, high, yep. 15 minute, oh. Equal Asia lows taken. Push back up, continuation lower, that's the question right now. ES. Ooh, well, in case we get the short, we can still play it along. I don't like having equal highs above when I go short, really. But it is what it is. If we get the structure shift, we take that. 1 second, guys. Be back in a minute. Mic is back on. Still no displacement. Still waiting. Okay, so we didn't close below it, and we would prefer it to simply continue lower and leave behind a bearish fair value gap. If we do not get the bearish fair value gap, I won't enter today. At least on the short. And we won't get a bearish fair value gap. Made sure of that with this little retracement. Didn't close below the market structure shift level. Really. Could also still look at this one. It's only 1 tick away from, 1 tick from this market structure shift level. Looks more like a sweep to me right now than everything else. DXY continues lower. Keep monitoring it like we said, with equal highs above. Not really something I'd like to take. We don't have the fair value gap, so. And right over here, it would also make a little bit more sense if we close below that. Then we could also draw our breaker block right here. This would only really work on the 1 minute time frame. Even on the 1 minute, we do not leave behind a bearish fair value gap. We made sure of that with this up closing candle, but we keep on continuing lower. So if we happen to close below this low with a bearish inefficiency, I would treat that as the market structure shift and take the short. Keep in mind we have bullish fair value gaps right here. We kept respecting this bullish fair value gap right here, even with this candle close. Let's see. Let me change up my phone. Didn't sweep the low here on NQ, but we also took the highs. Little difference. DXY continues slower, back into the daily inversion fair value gap. No market structure shift yet. We stay patient until. Sometimes I like to take a look at new trending indicators. What's that? MA type TMA previous trend duration. MA subbase range detector. ATR length. Okay, so it's basically detecting consolidations based on the ATR. Makes sense. But I think a human being would be better at detecting a range. What else do we have trending? Trend lines, predictive channels, liquidation levels. Smart money breakouts. Let's take a look at the smart money breakouts. Winning trades 128, losing trades 130. Change of character, short signal right here. That's where we got our entry target down here. Interesting, not the worst really. Win rate should be fine. We keep on consolidating in here. Take a look at NQ. NQ keeps doing that same thing. The DXY close below the Asia low. So yeah, we would have preferred a rejection here and continue back up. But the close below indicates that we might want to continue a little lower. 1 hour is going to close in 30 minutes. New 15-minute candle, close below. Equal highs above, buy side above. Market structure shift level below. We hit that and immediately rejected here on the 5-minute. Looking at the 15. Yeah, nothing on the 15 at all. Just dubious speculation. Chimoku oscillator. Absorbing support and resistance. Bitcoin halving cycle profit. IPDA standard deviations. think we're pretty well covered with the ICT all-in-one so far. Nothing new to add. Nothing groundbreaking. Main idea was for it to do most of the charting work, so I don't have to draw in the Asia session, organize all that in the object tree. Simply let that be. Let's see. I really hope we get a decent fair value gap reversal setup up here. But if we don't, well, one day without a setup also wouldn't hurt us. Took the 15-minute low. Let's take a look at the Euro US dollar. Something fresh. Oh. So yesterday we hit the buy side that we spoke about with the market structure shift setup from down here, fair value gap. We eventually hit the sell side. And what are we setting up to do right now? A new market structure shift to the upside with a unfilled volume imbalance, with a potential bullish fair value gap being left behind in the next couple of minutes. Could be a fake out. I mean, on the DXY we can't really say anything either what is going to happen, but if the DXY continues lower and retraces into this fair value gap, we could expect EU to also pull back into this inefficiency. Super rangy down here. On Monday, Tuesday, we had a nice trend to the downside. From them, we didn't really move away from that NFP fair value gap right here. From last Friday, we basically stayed inside for most of the time, going sideways. So let's turn on the range detector. We take out the highs and the lows, and every time we do that, so right here, we take out the lows, take out the highs. After taking the highs, we take the lows. After taking the lows, we take the old highs. We pull back, take highs one more time. After taking the highs, we go back to taking the lows. Interesting, but this is basically seek and destroy. Turtle soup entries work very well during these scenarios, but yeah. Just simply buy stops, buy the lows, sell the highs. No entry. Bullish volume imbalance, so really would like to see those highs to be taken out. And even for ES really to continue up higher and take these highs. Leave that consolidation behind. Let me make sure I get a execution in on a not this one, on that Apex account for the 50k, 25k evaluation that I'm still doing. Switch over to micros. Let's just do one micro execution so it counts as a trading day. Challenge is already passed. Did that with one 2022 setup. I think we also already spoke about that, how I've been managing that. So let's go along with one micro. We sell one limit here and we sell one stop down here. That should already be fine. That counts as a trading day with Apex, so we can log back out and go back into our TD accumulation zone account. And we still consolidate. Na. take a look at Forex Factory here. We have prelim URM consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. today. Financial confidence survey of about 500 consumers, which asks respondents to rate the relative level of current and future economic conditions. Lux has some ICT indicators that can help. Lux has many ICT indicators. I mean, they jumped on that hype train as well. But I really believe that other than higher time frame candles on your chart, VWAP, midnight levels, kill zone boxes, we have the market structure basics in here, the break of structure and market structure shift, higher highs and higher lows, and the zigzag. I'm looking forward to add order blocks and breaker blocks and all that, but the indicator is already big enough as it is. I think I would make a second script, ICT all-in-one part 2. Otherwise, this one would just take so long to load. And yeah, in reality, it's not that hard to draw these things out if you studied ICT. That shouldn't be a issue. Still nothing new on YM. Nothing new on the daily candle. The DXY is now pulling back after closing below the Asia low. So we want to see if the midnight level is now holding resistance after initially holding support. Like I said, up here in a consolidation, it's really hard for us to get the displacement with the fair value gap. But yeah, like we saw it yesterday, the displacement sometimes can be very volatile and leave behind a huge bearish fair value gap. In the end of the day, still play out. That's a good part about it. But if we consolidate in a small range and we leave behind wicks to both the up and down side, yeah, it's next to impossible get an entry. We want to see movement, no consolidation, because then it's just easy for it to close below with one tick and go back to these equal highs. We want to see this candle almost drop all the way down here. Next candle to retrace, then leave behind the inefficiency. Not tiny, weeny little candles that slowly move below the market structure shift level, leave behind the inefficiency, and then continue lower. I want to see the aggression, the displacement. Here within a couple of candles, displaced. Right here with one candle, displaced, leaving behind the inefficiency. Yesterday, London. With aggression, we took out the slow, and with aggression, we negated our 2022 model, leaving behind inefficiencies. That's what we want to see. This is not what we want to see. This is a range, and it could happen that we, close below our market structure shift level, leave behind a tiny weeny fair value gap, and still easily continue higher. I mean, we have a 15-minute bullish fair value gap down here. Likely also a 1 hour fair value gap somewhere on this leg. Yeah, starting to retrace. Plenty of 5-minute fair value gaps. Likely also stuff on the 1 minute. Basically on every time frame. Let's wait and see. NQ is also still consolidating. Let me open up YM, but I would expect the same thing to happen on YM. I'm not trading the scalper strategy today, securing the profits from this week. No point. Already woke up late and yeah, would have even missed that entry right here. The scalper strategy would have signaled a long down here. Yesterday we ended up with +2R. Stop loss 1 tick below this candle. 2 to 1 hit. Easy peasy. Let me check my top step. No, that's not correct. I'll have to look that up later. Still nothing. Equal lows and equal highs. What's the time? It's 3:40. So maybe we get something with the new hourly candle at 4 a.m. If not, so be it. Open up with a bearish volume imbalance. All right. We are below our market structure shift level now. Saw that same consolidation here on YM with the initial movement up. I'm pretty sure we would have also received a long signal on ES. Yep. And a long signal on NQ. Yep. NQ also shifting structure. Finally. The DXY rejected off the midnight level. So we want to be cautious here. We want that fair value gap to happen. Two minutes to go. We are below the 5-minute bullish right here. Good morning, Herman, or good night. Good morning, Ulrich, or good afternoon, basically. Right, we're starting to get a potential fair value gap. That's nice. Still have to wait, and also for the next candle, hoping it's not going to immediately continue lower or rebalance this previous candle. Can draw up our inversion fair value gaps, especially this one, because we kept holding support here for a very long time, really. Inversion fair value gap, and if we close below inversion fair value gap, our breaker block would be the lowest down closing candle. Up here we could look at the two most recent or consecutive down closing candles. Up there, let's only look at the lowest one. Market structure shift. Ideally we close as low as we possibly can for us to have a higher probability of a fair value gap being left behind and not reject here. But if we don't get the fair value gap, we simply don't get the entry today. If we wick to retrace and really see this push close at least here, because right now this would be the potential bearish fair value gap, which could be easily filled back in with a little retracement on that next 5-minute candle that we have to wait for before we get the entry. That's decent. So now we have a volume imbalance as well. We want to see that remaining open without filling our potential bearish fair value gap. Volume imbalance. And right now our bearish fair value gap comes in right here. We do not want to see that immediate push up. If we do, simply no entry. Okay, we see that we have overlapping confluence right here as well. Market structure shift confirmed. Don't push up to 4370.75. Don't. NQ. Also open up with the bearish volume imbalance. We already took away the one tick of our fair value gap. We have 2 ticks left. So this would be a balanced price range. Old bullish fair value gap. New bearish fair value gap. Let's see, in case we do get our entry, a 3.5 point stop loss towards these equal highs. Our 2-to-1 would be even below the VWAP. Well, I deem it okay. Like always, we simply set and forget once we did our job. If we create a limit order here, 1 contract, 2 contracts would be 250. So I'm going to switch over to micros here. But we still have 3 minutes left. So let's see if we even leave behind the fair value gap. We could, of course, also simply, in terms of scalping, push into this inversion fair value gap and then immediately continue lower, doing immediate rebalance, bouncing off the midnight level and going back above the equal highs. We will see. No point to speculate. We keep an active eye on it. And other than that, the XY is pushing back up. NQ is continuing lower, so that's looking good. 2.5 minutes to go before we potentially enter. Guys, ready? 3 a.m. Early as hell. Yeah, the macros are loading too long. I'm still working on fixing it. I will get back to it this weekend. Really slowed down the speed so much, and also, it wasn't able to be, to show macros on the 1 and 4 hour time frame, making the indicator not work at all on these time frames. And after removing it, after finding the issue and reapplying it to the chart, I really saw the drastic change in loading time. So I decided to remove it for now, but I will add it back on once I found a stable solution on how to add macros into this big source code of over 2000 lines. That's eventually going to take a while to compile and also to load on your chart. And yeah, I thought, okay, macros might be the only thing that's, I don't know, wouldn't be too much work to think of after getting the midnight level and all the other stuff that you might want to see being drawn on your chart already. It's a nice to have, but I think not a must have with the ICT all-in-one. All right, 50 seconds to go. You guys are ready? Ready to short? Yeah, that would be a nice confluence, but simply gonna play ES here. We get the setup, we take it. So let's open up the micros here. And I want to enter at the same price that we would on the mini, which would be 4370.25. Even though the micro fair value gap is up higher, I don't care about that. 3.5 points. We target our 221. 16 seconds. We can start creating our limit order. We want to risk 0.5, 245, 14 units. If we do 15, no, we do 14 with commissions and all. And yeah, we simply hit sell. Our limit order, 4370.25, that's done. We open up again with a new bearish volume imbalance on the micro. So let me quickly log out here and log out into all the other accounts like always. The take profit trader 25k, and we are just going to do exactly the same thing. We risk 250, not 250, 250. So let's log out and jump into our Apex funded accounts. Trade limit order 0.5. So, and this one as well. Trade limit order 0.5. So, all right. Log out our limits order. Our limit orders are set. Ready to forget about them. Got our setup. Gotta monitor it on MES or here on the trade day account. If we just keep on running, let's see, midnight level, VWAP, sell side, Asia, sell side liquidity. I think I will just, I don't know, measure the dealing range from low to high. 50% comes in perfectly to the tick with this sell side liquidity right here, these two equal lows right after below the midnight and after the Asia kill zone. So I want to see that pullback. We don't have to get it, and yeah, simply not get filled. The DXY is pushing back up. NQ continues lower as well. It's much weaker right now. Asia lows are very close compared to ES here. And then it would simply be a no fill entry. Didn't get filled. Here on the 1 minute, we tapped the bearish fair value gap and then continued lower, but we don't trade the 1 minute. Keep it simple. Too easy to make mistakes on the 1 minute. We don't have enough time to plan our stuff. Here on the 5 minute we do. So yeah, expect a retracement if we get it. I'm only gonna enter on this fair value gap up here. I'm not going to consider the potential one right here. Balance price range, another inversion fair value gap up here. Yeah, and at this point in time we can really call it. And limit orders are set. Bearish fair value gap, that's below the market structure shift level. We don't have a single one above, but yeah, I'm not gonna choose this fair value gap as an entry point simply because of the risk to reward ratio that we would need with our stop loss up here. We got our displacement eventually. Could still happen to be a pullback, continuation back into buy side liquidity. In this scenario, we could still play the unicorn setup, but since the orders are set, let's see. Good morning, Ragnar. Yeah. 15-minute time frame looking like a nice displacement, unfilled volume imbalance. Ooh. On a 5-minute, yeah, okay. Also unfilled. Looks a little bit different. Equal lows. Let's take a look at our current retracement here, 50%. The value gap above that. The DXY pushing above the tiny little bearish fair value gap. 40 seconds to go before we start a new 15-minute cycle where we could potentially see the pullback. NQ hit the midnight level. We have that same bearish fair value gap, but paired with the market structure shift level actually. So like yesterday, we're simply going to paper trade it on NQ, 2-to-1 risk reward on the Apex 250, create limit order, risk 0.5%, and sell. Heard a notification. Well, if you place your limit order, go to sleep. If you don't have time this morning on Friday anymore, go to sleep. Made a trade. Bye. Take care. I think I'm gonna make myself something to eat and a coffee. So we just opened a new 15-minute candle with a doji previous one here on the 5. And always important to look at the time. This is a new hourly candle now, 4 a.m. So if we take a look at the hourly, that's where we are at right now, 15-minute. Potential for a 15-minute fair value gap as well, starting to look like a pump and dump. Like I said, our entry comes in up here or not at all. Just sticking to the rules. If you want to scalp this instead of fully sticking to the rules, stop loss 5 points, just to make sure we don't get a big wick to big candle to the upside without having a stop loss in place to scalp 5 points below the 50%. Something like this, a little 1-to-1, maybe from this inversion or this volume imbalance, but our trade is gonna look like this. All right, I will be back in like, say something around 5 minutes, make myself a cup of coffee and maybe get a little bits to eat. I will keep track of what ES is doing on my phone in case we do something interesting, but the orders are set. Gonna leave it on the chart here. Stop loss is 3.5 points. Entry comes off this bearish value gap. We target our 2-to-1, and that's all. No rocket science. Consistency. All right, I'll be back soon. Let's take a last look at the DXY. Pushing NQ, bouncing at the VWAP. Also a tiny bearish value gap right here, partially filled. But we're going to stick to our plan here on ES. Consistency. All right, I will be back soon. I thought we might have hit an entry. Alright, I'm back. This just really brings to show that, I don't know, you don't have to be, oh, sorry guys, in front of the charts 24/7. I mean, yeah, so far we didn't get a single fill of any of the inefficiencies that we have left behind, even the inversion fair value gaps. Maybe on the 1 minute time frame, but I don't care about that. Let's take a look at NQ. NQ is bouncing off the midnight level paired with the VWAP. Inside the bearish fair value gap. The DXY is rejecting now, which could really lead for this to be simply a pullback on the higher time frames and still, yeah, continue up higher. But if we don't, we are prepared with our entry. We did manage our risk correctly. That's all we can do. It's the best we can do. And yeah, afterwards, kind of forgetting that we even placed the trade. We have our 2-to-1 set, like I did yesterday. I entered, even though it came all the way back to my entry and even went into drawdown. I still didn't do any break even, blah blah blah. I simply, it's either a win or a loss, and we will keep track of the progress over the next 66 days. So if you don't have time to trade the entire London session, you really just have to wait for the setup to form, set your limit order, and then check back at, like, I don't know, 5 AM New York local time, and see if you have been filled, if the setup is still valid, that we already take out the Asia sell side or Asia buy side, basically the opposite liquidity pool. If not, then leave it on. If yes, then yeah, ideally we want to get filled in the kill zone. That would be the plan. But we will see. Nothing's lost yet. So Oh, I am muted on Discord, am I? Ah, join stage. Sorry guys. Share my screen again. We keep on selling off without getting the pullback. Right here on NQ we did, but on the slower fair value gap, not really interested in that. DXY keeps on holding above the midnight level. We get a new 15-minute candle close. That's the first 15-minute candle close for the new hourly candle. ES on the daily time frame starting to turn into a bearish daily candle. YM keeps on selling off. Nice little trend. Structure shift, but without the appropriate fair value gap entry. Same goes for ES, and same thing goes well with some sort of a entry down here for NQ. So we now hit sell side below the 50%. I think today might be a, can't really call it a missed opportunity. I mean, we expected or anticipated the short. It played out, so analysis wise, and well, it's not really analysis, but what we were set out to do played out nicely, but without giving us the entry opportunity. If we would have simply pulled back here into the fair value gap, we would have already hit our 2-to-1. So that's good to know. We're still, yeah, I think doing the right thing. It's not gonna change so quickly. And yeah, new hourly candle opened up. decided to continue lower instead of retracing a single bit. We haven't had a up closing candle within this entire move to the downside. And since our main priority is to stick to the rules, if we do that, if we clear the Asia low, I will remove the limit order. I might even remove it just yet right now. I don't think. If we get all the way back up into this fair value gap that we actually continue lower, our take profit target would have been hit already. We'll keep an eye on it. If we don't get the entry, so be it. Take a look at NQ. NQ almost hit the Asia session low. So we're gonna get rid of the limit order here. Hit and miss. Yep, took out the Asia low. But we can see how unattractive the risk reward would be depending on your stop loss placement, really. Some traders or ICT traders, they place their stops like this super tight in order to get a good risk reward. Can work. I prefer like at least this short-term high, and then we would have just ended up at a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio right now. So the entry up here would have been much nicer. Then we would have already hit our 2-to-1 almost. But didn't happen, and so be it. If you like taking these entries, then I mean, there's nothing holding you back. ES, yeah, I think it's time to remove my sell, and I'm leaving them on there until we take out the Asia low. But even if we retrace orders, we had our displacement, we consolidated or basically distributed up here. Yeah, likely still trapping in longs, leaving all these equal highs behind. If we get all the way back up into here, there's no reason that's big enough for me that would tell me that we're not gonna simply take out these equal highs up here. Our idea played out though. From the high of the day, we get our reversal, but today without the entry. Aggressive entry opportunities and scalping opportunities where you just, like we spoke about it, I think, already this week, where you just trust your, I don't know, your intuition and your gut feeling. I don't know, it could be a mix or with the 2022 model, blah, 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 where you say, I don't need the pullback entry, I'm just here to scalp 5 or 10 points and or get a short in back to the midnight level and to VWAP. And you can do that. You see the volume imbalance, you enter on the volume imbalance. I mean, the difference wouldn't have been too big, but if you stick to rules, then you're better off, simply to stick to the rules that you have set out for yourself. Our target would have been hit really easy. We just didn't get the retracement. Aggressive volume imbalance entry, but other than that, we didn't even come back, retest the breaker block, no immediate rebalance, no inversion fair value gap retracement, not even here. So the last time we held up, no, nothing here. I think that's gonna be it. Nice. 4370. Did you enter based on the volume imbalance? Basically. Let's go. Well done, Nerdy Ryan. simply trading the momentum. And we used to do that also on the streams. If you think back like 1 or 2 months, no, 1 month even, but we would have taken a volume imbalance entry like this. I mean, the risk to reward ratio would have been almost the same. We would have had our limit order right here at the closing price of this candle right here at 345. And the difference would have been 1 tick basically to our fair value gap entry. So it's acceptable, but like I said, I decided to stick to rules for this challenge because it's, yeah, I don't know, it proves the point. If you can do this, and if you trust your intuition and you take scalping entries, then yeah, that's great. Keep working on improving your gut feeling. But at least for the next 66 days, we're gonna stick to what we set out. I think we should really continue lower here on ES. NQ is already way past that. And the DXY going sideways a little bit at least. YM also, this entire movement to the upside is almost gone. Alright, let me remove my limit orders. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Not a single bit of a retracement. Log out, trader weight. Go into this one. Remove the limit order. Log out, trader weight. Apex, not this one. Apex fund accounts. Remove limit order. And remove the limit order. All right. Do we have any questions for today? Unconsciously that the 350 candle had closed, but it still was in play. I entered thinking unconsciously that the 350 candle had closed. The 350 candle. Yeah, but that's exactly how, like you said it, you entered unconsciously without really thinking about it, and that's really how you trade based on your intuition. It's not the easiest thing, it's a work in progress, but, well, I mean, well done. Just getting close to pass your Take Profit Trader challenge. Hard work is finally paying off. Let's go. All right. Friday's done for you. Make sure to not give it away again. And yeah, let it stick. No, I'm still trying to 15-minute market structure shift now as well. We hit the Asia sell side. That would be the 15-minute time frame entry. 221. No, I think we're just gonna accelerate lower. TP at 4360. Right at the Asian low. Yeah, sooner or later it will be hit. Can basically just set and forget, leave it there. We already took most of the major short-term lows inside Asia. This is just a low starting at 8. But yeah, potential is definitely there. 4360, 4361. Let's wait for Ryan's trade to hit profit. So Ryan, would you label this as a lucky mistake or as a intentional entry based on the rules that you have set up, or based on your rule framework, basically. Okay, lucky mistake, not looking to recreate again. Yeah, sometimes we are fortunate and we make mistakes and even win with these mistakes. But yeah, you don't want to rely on that. Most of the time when we make a mistake, we end up losing, so it's fair for us to also get rewarded once for making a mistake, which is not really great, but I mean, it played out. The entry was spot on. We missed our entry, we never retraced here. Let's take a last look at NQ. NQ almost at the low of the day again. Reset, no. Consolidation, then we got the displacement. Not filled on either NQ or ES. The DXY is continuing higher. Take a look at EU. After shifting structure, hit the volume imbalance, we will see. Would be a potential 2022 setup, but I think we've done pretty good so far this morning. Didn't make any mistakes that end up costing us something. One of our members made actually some profit with a mistake, so good mistake. But no, we never came back into our fair value gap, not even this one right here. So we simply gonna call it here. Unless you guys have any more questions, I'm not looking forward to trade anything anymore during the London kill zone. I will be back for New York. We'll see what happens. Basically, what I'd say what happened here is that, they decided to just wreck all the Asian traders that got in maybe somewhere around here and started trailing their stop support below each and every one of these short-term lows right here. And the way you get them stopped out quickly without giving them a chance to close and profit at all is doing it like this from the high of the day. No, that's pretty much all. Alright, guys. That's it for the London session. Today without an entry. I will still journal this one because I think it would be interesting. I'm gonna take a screenshot here and add it into the bento book. Because sometimes we can even learn something from the trading days where we didn't get the fill, so I'm simply gonna add the trade day 50k, MES1, profit and loss 0, we wanted to go short, put the screenshot in here because then we can look at it later on. It's Friday, London, no entry, let's put these labels in here. We had the 2022 setup. 5-minute MSS notes. No fair value gap. Retracement entry. No, we're not gonna even think about that. No fair value gap, retracement entry. Entry price, the time would have been, no, we didn't enter, so can't really do anything here. Let's make sure it's also at 10:28, so it's not messing with our stats. And we simply add the trade. Friday, London, no entry. 5-minute market structure shift. Yep, no PL. And if we go over to our gallery view, yep, we have that in here. So when we do our recaps, we can just look at the entire weekend here and understand maybe if we see this pattern happening, repeating, like, I don't know, out of the 66 days that we're going to trade, we're going to see it like 10 or 20 times, then, and we see the similarity of the consolidation right at the London Open, followed by the strong dip without giving us the entry, we could, yeah, I don't know, set a plan up in case we get a scenario like that. So it's all journaled. We didn't lose or make anything this morning. Sticking to the rules. And yeah, for 360, still not hit. And now it's hit. Nice, nice, nice. All right, well done, Ryan. 480 bucks up. How far are you to pass your trade day challenge? I really want to give you the funded trader role. Right here. No pressure, of course. Just you follow your rules and eventually you get there. And then we start the Black Friday as well. Opening up the channel for everyone. I'm somewhat far, but I'm doing one trade per London session only. Now, that's fair enough. Well, the profit target is $3,000. So what are you up to right now? Like 50% there, 25%. And Q is about to hit the low of the day. Then YM didn't take out the Asia low just yet. The DXY is pushing to the upside. Took the Asia high, took the Asia low, and pushed back up. Bum, bum, bum. So we could be really looking for... EU is still not really willing to move yet. All right. Unless you guys have any more questions. Current 25,327.5. One loss yesterday, one win today. Decent. Just keep it up. Journal your trades so you can actually learn from mistakes and maybe something, or learn how you can improve further. And yeah, then I will be back for the New York session. I will start the Black Friday sale and activate the discount codes for the wop.com shop. And yeah, we'll be back in 3.5 hours roughly. 8 a.m. We will see. I will check the charts at 8 a.m. if we... Well, it's the kill zone start, but I'd prefer an entry around the New York Open. We will see. Yesterday played out really well during New York. So yeah, we will be back at it once again. Alright, unfortunately no fill during London. So potentially if we still wanna take out the slow here on ES, we would have a 15-minute fair value gap setup up here. But yeah, I don't know, I will keep an eye on it. And even if we get the retracement up in here and continue lower, I will journal it, but I don't want to take the trade, I think, especially up here on the 5-minute. What's the time right now? It's 4:30. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. Maybe we get the pullback. 15-minute time frame. Yeah, also hard to tell market structure. Really, the breaker block, that would make the most sense. be this one right here paired with the midnight level, the stone closing candle. We hit this volume imbalance paired with the bullish fair value gap. Could start to see the retracement now, but I don't know. If you would see price being super bullish within a couple of candles being already up in here, getting us to fill, what's stopping it from taking buy side and then doing this? I don't know. I think we've done pretty well so far this week. We didn't get the entry. Our take profit target would have already been hit. We hit the opposite sell side liquidity pool. We already took out yesterday's low before the Asia kill zone even. So we're just gonna leave the London session behind us and prepare ourselves for New York. Time to hit the gym. Exactly. All right. Take care and see you later during New York. Bye.